Hello Australia, welcome to another Big Couch, episode 724 to be exact. Big day today, 19th of June around Australia. I hope you're doing well. I hope everything's got back to normal where you are around Australia. Today, we're going to ruin that because we are just making everything new here on the couch. We have got Philip Wally-Stack, or we know him as Phil Wally-Stack today, singing a beautiful song called Memories. But he's also talking to us about his foundation. It's called the Indigenous Art Foundation. We'll find out how it works and how you can be involved as well. Talking Music, Demelza is back. Nice to see her back in the studio. Talking Health with Dr. Joe Kostorich. Can't wait to talk to him. Hybrid workplaces. Hybrid means a new way of doing things. We'll find out about people working from home in different locations and not in the office anymore. Sarah Di Lorenzo is a nutritionist from Sunrise. She's got a couple of new books. We're going to talk to her very soon. Plating Up WA. It's happening all around Western Australia. It's all great food. Buy Best, Buy West. I think I got that right. Or is it Buy West, Buy Best? All the same. And Club Fiesta come in just to loosen us up at the end of the show. Stick around. Episode 724 starts now.
It's showtime on the couch. It's showtime on the couch. You can see it from your house. You can see it from your house. It's showtime on the couch with Fred and the best in town. You can see it from your house. Yeah, it's showtime on the couch. Oh.
Hello Australia. I've been just watching Abby, our floor manager. I thought she'd lost the plot for a minute, but she's very exciting. Can I just welcome back RF2 in the control room and Michael and Adrian looking after things today. And we've got a wonderful crew in here. Sonia, Abby, Petrian, Izzy, Charlotte, Tyra, and also the guy standing right next to me, who is, of course, Lucas. Welcome to the show, everybody. Hope you're having a good time. First up on the show today, I have got a friend of mine. I've known him for many, many years. We don't see each other much because he's so busy. He's running a great foundation called the Indigenous Art Foundation. His name is Phil Wally-Stack. He's the CEO. Welcome to the couch, Phil. Welcome back.
Thanks, mate. I was trying to work on my side angle shot.
Yeah, I had to have surgery to change my angle. But welcome to the show.
Thank you, mate. How you been?
Look, I've been really good.
You're looking good.
I know. Thank you.
As long as you look good.
That $50 went down really well. Phil,
I pay 30.
You are... Well, thanks. Now my hairdresser's going to leave the studio. You are running a great foundation called the Indigenous Art Foundation. Tell us a little bit about what it's all about and why you got involved.
Well, there was something missing, Fred. You followed my career for the last whatever so years.
Many years, I think for about 15, 20 years.
15, 20 years. And over the time, obviously touring the world, touring Australia, and especially Outback Australia. Because
you're an actor, you're a singer.
I was an actor, now I'm acting as a singer.
Exactly, and you run your own business. You're also a person that looks after, you mentor so many young people.
Yeah.
And I think you're not just a First Nations mentor, you're all Australian.
Well, that's right. Everyone wants to be an Australian, and then when it comes to things, then it's like, no, you're an Indigenous.
Yes, I call you an Australian.
Yeah, but the foundation all come about because something was missing. We travelled throughout remote Australia, around Australia, big cities, and coming across a lot of young Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander kids who were just talented in dancing, singing, acting, telling a yarn. All the things that create an entertainer. And there's no path. There was no pathways to go through in that.
The motivation's there, but the steps aren't.
Yeah, like there's great foundations in the sports industry, and I take my hat off to those guys,
especially
in football and basketball.
Yep, correct.
And they've paved the way. And so looking at that and their modules, and I'm also talking to the CEOs of these foundations as well, and they're fully supporting us as well and getting behind it because it's all about the career, and building your own career. I remember as a kid growing up and always wanting to be the centre of attention. I'm sure you was the same. Always wanted to be the centre.
Funny enough, because of my size, I'm always in the centre of everything. They used to call me the human roundabout. People used to indicate in the tea room.
Well, you make people go round and round, see?
Well, we do. But, see, you are the perfect person to run a foundation like this, I have to say, and I'm not just saying that to you, because you're trying to get these kids an opportunity to move on in life and to get experience.
The foundation is basically already just doing what we've been doing. for the last, 10 to 12 years. People like Ernie Dingo's on our board of directors. You know?
You've got a great board.
He's already been doing workshops and talks and motivational speaking with kids anyway. You know, and I've been doing the same as well. So now it's like, well, let's get really serious about supporting our kids in the music industry, in the arts sector. You know, so.
Well, the arts has been, since COVID as well, the arts have sort of done badly, funding-wise. Government...
Fred, I didn't know what to do. You asked my wife.
Yeah.
I sat on the couch because I had a whole tour.
This is your career. This is your life.
I travelled the world for 10 years
Yep.
performing, you know, promoting Australia, performing my music. And to get that taken away from you just like that, it hurt.
And you know what? Australians don't quite understand the arts because I watched something on Q&A the other night, and there was a singer on there, and she basically said, people think we just turn up to gigs and we just perform. And because I've been around for 30 years, I must be wealthy, she said. She says, we normally live from bill to bill and, you know, gig to gig.
Yep.
So people have got to understand that you don't get paid $1 million and then you retire. You're constantly working. And when it ended, there was nothing else that you could do.
There was nothing at all.
It's like travel agents, I guess.
I lost that many shows and tours, and then you had this little bit of hope that something was going to come up. Something does come up, and then you get a phone call saying it's been cancelled because someone's tested positive.
Well, I tell you what, the foundation's amazing. I've got to touch on some topics here. The workshops that you guys are doing. Tell me about those.
Yeah, so it starts with a roadshow. Where, you know, we take a truck stage, we've got the marquees, we go out into the communities, into the towns, and we put on a show. We take a few big names with us. We put on a show to attract the kids to come and the community to come and be involved. From that, we have little workshops in acting, dancing, music, behind the camera, you know, presenting.
Real.
Everything.
It's very real experience.
Very real experience, yeah. And we find the kids who got that it factor. You know, we don't forget about the ones who's got that fire in their belly and that, but the ones who got that it factor, then we bring them on to another workshop that we have down here in Perth, and it's called See It, Be It. And we've had people like Troy Cassadaly get behind it. We've also had DJ Yella from NWA. You know, we did a Zoom meeting with him from LA, and the kids was talking to him about the whole hip hop era, but it was more about where he come from. You know, coming from the hood, so to speak, over there, and then coming out of that and making a career in the music and entertainment industry and other things that he did as well.
So the workshop's running at the moment?
They are running at the moment. We just finished one, so we don't have one running now.
We can give the people the details at the end. I know they're saying we're short on time. The road shows, tell me what they're all about.
So that's the road shows where we take the workshops out to the communities. So the road show is the fishing line where we chuck the bait out. We reel them in, then we bring them in. I don't know how the bloody hell I got to talking about fishing. I'm an expert blowfish catcher, but anyway.
I eat fish, that's about it.
But, you know, the roadshow is out there and taking these workshops out into the community. The difference between us and many other workshops that are going out is that a lot of people, and we got sick and tired of seeing these workshops going out into communities, and they run the community, wow the community, then leave and never see them again.
Do you think it's more about the money they make?
It's more about the people running those workshops.
Correct. Their priorities.
They're the ones being paid. They're the ones egos getting massaged. And I'm telling it straight. I don't care anymore.
Look, you've always have, and I wouldn't want you to change. What about the scholarships that are happening?
Yeah. So
and where do they lead?
The scholarships is all about the same as you see in the sport foundations. You know, we've got kids going through getting an education. You know, a higher education than what they normally receive, because of scholarships, and they're doing that off the back of sport. So we want to do the same thing through the arts industry. You know, whether it's filmmaking, TV presenting. You know, maybe there'll be a young Aboriginal person on your show one day doing a segment, you know, that come through our foundation.
Correct.
And then their career just skyrocket like that, you know.
Look, I think it's fantastic. You're looking for kids that have got the flame, and you basically enlarge that flame and give them a future path. Exactly. I think it's wonderful. How do people support the foundation, and how can you support them as well?
So at the moment,
you've got a website as well.
Yeah, so get onto the website. There's memberships that people can sign up to.
There it is on screen at the moment.
Yeah, that's it right there.
Yep.
I always wanted to do that.
Do you remember what it is?
I always wanted to do that.
I'll test your knowledge. Indigenous indigenousaartsfoundation.org.
.org.
We don't want to miss out, because can people apply to you to be part of your or the kids that want to? Do you have to interview them? How does it work if they think they've got the flame?
There's many ways that we do it. What we've found is there's a lot of shyness about our own kids, you know. So that's why we go out and encourage them to come along to the roadshow. Yeah.
Okay.
And through the website, your viewers out there, jump on the website. You'll see that you can sign up as a member.
Oh, beautiful! That's
and that all supports, and you get updates. Right. And the beauty about it now, Fred, is that because we're just starting, the people who sign up now is on this journey with us.
Imagine how much you could have done with that money we've just paid for those subs that we cancelled in France. $5 billion. You could have used all those subs that they cancelled in France.
Oh, yeah.
You could have done a lot with Australian kids with that money.
Imagine how many lives we can improve.
That's exactly.
How many communities we can build.
I would rather.
And that's the idea, Fred. Is, you know, people say, oh, why are you only taking one or two from here? It's because we want to start that ripple effect.
Yep.
You know, we want to put as much energy into one or two people to begin with, so that they are getting the full experience and the full support, and then that ripple effect happens in the community.
Well, we will have Phil back on the show, because I want to talk individually about some of the things that you're operating with through the foundation. It's called the Indigenous Arts Foundation. Phil is the CEO. Now, Phil, you're going to go centre stage in a minute. You've written a beautiful song. Tell me a little bit about that song.
Memories. It's a very emotional song for me. It's always hard to perform, because I wrote it knowing that my grandmother was dying. About 8-9 months ago is when we got the news that she was going to go any day. At the same time, we ended up recording a podcast, and I got to interview her, and that podcast is the last conversation that I had with her.
Amazing, isn't it?
And on that day, I showed her this song as well. I was writing the song at the same time, because that's how we deal as artists. That's how we deal with our life experiences, our ups and our downs. You know, we put it on paper, we put it into a song.
You'll always remember her through this song, and I'm sure she was very proud of you too.
Well, check out the film clip, because as a child, my grandmother used to take us to the cinemas all the time, and it was the old Hoyt cinemas at Carousel.
It is old, yes.
That was out the back by itself, you know, and she left me there. She forgot me.
One would say, do you blame her? But
so
no.
in the film clip, she always took us to the cinemas during school holidays. So I wanted to have that sort of feel. And we filmed it at the old Darren Drive-In. And that where the car park was, there's a crop that's growing there. We put a little riser in the middle of that, and I'm standing there while we're projecting her images up on the big screen.
What a beautiful way to tribute your grandmother, but I'm sorry that she's gone. But
she lives on, though.
She lives on in
She made a mark on this world.
Yes, and you were saying we've got is it a street in Perth as well, named after her?
I'm not allowed to talk about that.
Oh, sorry about that. Never happened. Never happened. Phil, you are a wonderful Australian. You do amazing things with the Indigenous Arts Foundation. We'll have you back on again, because I want to talk to you about individually about the workshops, the road shop. There's a lot there.
We'll get some kids to come in.
I reckon we could do that.
Yeah.
We'll try and organise some kids into the studio. But if you would like to be part of it, while Phil goes centre stage to prepare for the song, you'll hear it exclusively here live in just a moment. Please don't forget the foundation. The website, as always, we did have it up on the screen. If you want to be part of it, if you want to put some money into it and become a sponsor, get in touch with Phil and the team, and there it is there, indigenousaartfoundation.org. I think he's ready to go. Thank you to Phil, and I'm very honoured to have him on the show singing Memories.
Our world is changing. Time waits for no one, like a picture in a frame, it can fade away. But we've got our moments that can last a lifetime. In the memories that we make, they're here to stay. 'Cause those little they can make big memories. So keep those little moments close to
There you go. That is, of course, Phil Wally Stack. That's a brand new song called Memories. You'll catch it on Spotify or go to the website as well. Look for him. And please support the Indigenous Art Foundation. They'll be back very soon. Somebody that's been away, she hasn't been well. She's had a birthday to deal with. She's been to the Wildcats Most Valuable Player Awards last night until about 4 in the morning. Sort of like the Logies for you, isn't it? Demelza Leonard, welcome.
Bit. Hello, how are you?
Nice to have you back.
Good to be
What
back.
time did you finish last night?
It was actually early for me. It was 12:30, so
12:30,
it wasn't that bad. But we stayed at the hotel, so didn't
so
have
you lived it up?
to take the trek back home.
Was it good?
It was wonderful. It was awesome. The Wildcats, they put on a fantastic.
Who won the
ball
most
every year.
valuable player?
Bryce Cotton.
There you go. Good player, isn't he?
Yes.
Well,
yeah.
thank you for coming back to us. You had COVID for a while, didn't you?
I did.
You went through it okay?
I went through it, and my husband went. Well, my husband gave it to me, so
Yes, they always do. I knew it was told. I'll write that
I
down.
almost thought I got through it, but nah, day 6 it got me.
Well,
So-
let's get back into it. Someone said to me, you thought you weren't ready for us today. Is that because you haven't done it for a while?
Oh,
Feels
I
like
feel
forever.
a little bit unprepared, but
Well, what is it now? June, and we
It's
haven't seen you
June.
since September, October.
no. And this is my 7th season as
I
well.
know,
So
long
it's been
time.
a while.
We all
yeah.
still look the same age, funny enough.
It's makeup.
Yeah, the lack of it for me. Kate Bush.
Yes.
What's happening with her? Revival, she's coming back.
She's back. So thanks to Stranger Things 4, she has actually had this resurgence for her track Running Up the Hill.
Everything old is new again.
Exactly, and because of TikTok, and as soon as it hits TikTok, then it ends up streaming on Spotify, and the next thing you know, the songs are charting. So I have some interesting stats about
Yes,
that
go
a little
for it.
bit later on today, but the singer's actually shared a message about her song being part of the TV show. She's a huge fan. She's been a fan of the show since season 1, and she watches every single
Stranger
episode
Things
with
now
her
back
family.
on Netflix, aren't they?
On Netflix, it's season 4 now, but because it's based in the 80s, they play a lot of 80s songs. So Kate Bush, obviously iconic in the 80s, the song was released in 1984. She said she loves the show. She loves the way that it's put together. It's very well done. She loves the storylines and the special effects and the character arcs. So she was very excited when she got
Well,
asked
what
to
did
have
they
a
say?
song
They've
in
got,
there.
is it series 5 that's out now, and they're recording,
Four's
recording
out.
number 5, and that will
Yeah.
be it. They're closing it up.
Yeah,
to that.
yeah.
Amazing.
So it'll and you know it's only a matter of time. It's already happened on TikTok. Wuthering Heights is already starting to get a bit of play now as well. So you never know.
I think it's great. But you know what's great? Hearing something that was in our 80s come back again, and kids think it's brand new.
Do you know what I love? I love the fact that, yes, TikTok is for the younger generation and you've got your dancing and all that fun stuff, but it's educating the younger audience on music they might not necessarily know exists.
Well,
and
think
that's
about it.
great.
And the music is so different, and you know your music. You've got a lot more rap now, a lot more repetitive music. Back then, you actually had lyrics that meant something, and they actually led to something in the song.
Yeah,
There was a story.
And even the albums would be 104 weeks on a chart. Now it's 12 weeks and off it goes.
A couple of days and it's gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, what's happening with George Ezra? Why
So
is he coming to Australia?
He's coming to Australia for a brand new tour. He's got a brand new album that was released last week. So he is heading for the Gold Rush Kid World Tour, and there is an Australian leg here. He will be, it starts in October, it goes into November, and he will be playing at Kings Park, Botanic Gardens.
Is that the
in
green
Perth.
grass, green grass of home?
That's his new track that is off this brand new
Is that
album.
the old
That's
Tom Jones song that redone?
no,
No.
I'm not 100% sure. So
Those Tom Jones fans are now
Yeah.
buying tickets.
buying tickets and probably having a go at me. But anyway, so he surged to popularity with that Shotgun song that was out a couple of years ago. It's like the very
I know the
deep
tune.
voice.
It is that one. It's called the Gold Rush Kid Tour.
Gold Rush Kid Tour. You can check all the guides for ticket details, and also the album is out now.
Now, is Festival X back again, or is this the first time in summer?
It's first time. It will be kicking off the summer season. So it's heading to Australia, starting again another November, but then into December. And it's got a massive lineup. Calvin Harris is headlining along with Megan Thee Stallion, who's absolutely huge at the moment. She's just performed at Coachella. Plus, then on top of that, hold on, there's a big list.
Yes.
Don Toliver, Lude, who is the producer who did the Down Under track and has remade that into a bit of a dubstep type. It's definitely not up your up your alley.
I won't look for it.
It's
Thank
a
you.
far cry from the Men at Work version. But Boys
okay.
Noise, Green Velvet, a whole heap more. Tickets have gone on sale. I think they're up to second release now. But if you want details of where you can go and what to do, festivalx.com.au is exactly how
Now,
you can
who's
do
that
it.
kid that's let everybody down? Kid, what?
The Kid Leroy.
That's the one. I forgot
Yes.
all about it.
He performed here in Perth.
I
He
know.
did do the Perth
Our
show.
sound guy went to see the concert. I think our man Aref went there.
Yeah.
And it was wonderful.
I heard it was a very well put together show.
Do you reckon
and-
it's all? I know he's copped a lot of flack over cancelling because he wasn't well.
Hmm.
Do you think? Some people said it was stunted. Some people thought it was COVID. I think he really genuinely wanted to do a good job.
He did a sound check. So he actually did the sound check, and it was after the sound check that then they said, no, you can't, like he couldn't go ahead and do it. Do I think they could have told people prior to them all coming into the concert? Yes, but
And you know,
it
I
is
never
what
knew
it
who
is.
Amy Shark was until I watched The Apprentice.
Really?
And here I am thinking it was Amy Shark. So I said, that's Baby
No,
Shark.
that's Baby Shark,
So
yeah.
she's doing well. Keep watching The Apprentice too. I think it's great. The top threes they've asked me to do.
Yes.
Let's
yes.
go to the top threes. They're on the screen right now. At number 3.
Yes, at number 3, it is Lizzo with About Damn Time, another song that has had success on TikTok with
Yep.
all of its little dances.
Number 2?
At number 2, it is Kate Bush, Running Up the Hill, but do not be surprised if this goes number 1. And
Number
Harry
1.
Styles, as it was, is holding down that number 1 spot, but I think Kate Bush is going to give him a run for his
Yeah, I
money.
think you're right because of the Stranger Things
Exactly.
that happened before, so
Yes.
you never know.
Nostalgia, everyone loves it.
Look, I need some ABBA news next time you come in a couple of
Do you
weeks.
know what? I did look.
Yeah, there's
I
not
did
much.
look. Not much at the moment. They made their album.
Look, they all
got
came
nominated
back.
for their Grammy, and I think it's
I
going to be a
noticed
while before we
they
hear from
did a
them again.
reunion thing to promote the album and
Yeah.
etc. And I did notice one little thing. They've got bad teeth these days, but like that sort of thing. But I love having them back. I love don't love all the album. 3 or 4 of the songs I like. It's just so
Okay.
different to the old stuff.
Yes.
But I'm just glad they're together in the ages of around
They came
70
back,
and
yeah.
80. They've done well. Thank you for being on the couch.
Thanks for having me.
We'll catch you in a couple of weeks. That's,
Definitely.
of course, demelzaleonard.com.au. It's on screen right now. Please support her, follow her. She can help you with all your social media stuff. That's what she does for work. So please support her, and you know what she's like. Very dedicated. We'll take a break. More of The Couch coming up right after this. Well done. Welcome back to The Couch. It's always nice to talk about our health and improving it. With us today is Dr. Joe Kostridge, and with him today is our very own Doctor of Everything on the Couch, Nisha Seth.
Thank you so much, Fred. Welcome back to the show, Dr. Joe. You are one of our residents, I think, now.
I feel like a bit of a regular, although it's been a while. Lovely to be with you, Nisha. Lovely to see you, Fred.
So are you telling him something we don't know yet?
No, I don't think so.
Are we starting to charge fees?
Oh, okay.
No,
Hang on,
welcome
who's
back.
charging who?
Exactly. Nisha said she's happy to carry any cost. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Okay, so look, we're always talking about really interesting topics and the latest research, and obviously one that's close to my heart as a psychologist and yourself as a doctor is mental health and being proactive in that space. And there's always lots of research coming out, and this one's got to do with food, so I'm particularly intrigued.
Look, mental health obviously has been a growing issue over 20, 30 years or so, and in particular with lockdowns, mental health problems have increased significantly, and in particular in a younger age group. And there's necessarily a number of different levels and lots that can be done, and we are left with the impression that the only solutions are to see somebody and or take pills, and that is certainly necessary for some people and is certainly part of the mix. But what we don't hear a lot about is the self-help type changes that as an individual you can make that can make a difference. So this study looked at males aged 18 to 25, and they had 2 groups, randomised trial. One group was put on a Mediterranean type of diet, and the other group just left to their normal devices. And over a 12-week period, there was a 36% reduction in depressive symptoms in the group on a Mediterranean diet. Now, of itself, a small group, I think it was only about 72 males, 12 weeks, not the last word, And people say, well, it only applies in that age group. Well, no, I'm not sure it's age specific. And about 3 or 4 years ago, maybe it's longer, you lose track of time, similar work was done in a group of females aged 18 to 30 with exactly the same results. It found going onto a Mediterranean type diet, which is essentially vegetables, some olive oil, some fish, yes, some dairy, bit of meat, not too much processed and sugary foods, improved mental health. And it's because you're getting the nutrients, so you're getting some vitamin D, you're getting vitamins, you're getting minerals, you're getting good proteins. It's also what you're not getting. Once you're eating those sorts of foods, you're probably eating less donuts. You're probably eating less breakfast cereal.
Yes,
You're probably eating
yes.
less pretty much crap processed food. So it's not only what you eat, but what you don't eat. So that you can have a 36% improvement over a 12-week period. Is that, is that the last word? Does that mean that people might not need other assistance? No, it doesn't mean that. What it does mean is that there's probably more that people can do to help themselves than they're often told.
Yeah, and also being proactive, right, too. So if you can, change and alter something more sustainably for yourself. I was just thinking as you were speaking then, the importance of microbiome. So we know there's a lot out there around gut health. Kind of makes sense that what we're putting in our body is going to have quite a direct input on our brains as well.
Look, absolutely. The old adage about brain food and vitamins like vitamin B6, magnesium, zinc, B12, vitamin D, and that's not being an exhaustive list, are all good for brain health. Equally, we don't want too much sugar, and especially processed and refined sugar. Some good fats with the omega-3s, and you get that from fish in particular, fatty fish, salmon, mackerel, tuna, for example. But it's still niche, that bit of combination of what you do take and then by displacement what you don't eat. Couple that with some regular exercise, and we know that regular exercise is extremely good for mental health. Getting enough sleep, managing your stress. And again, some of these things people say, well, that's easier said than done. But that doesn't mean that you can't do what you can. Even if that's not by itself sufficient, that's certainly a good foundation. There's going to be a percentage of people where that might be all they need to do. There's going to be a percentage of people who may need medications. There's going to be a percentage of people who might require some counselling. It doesn't have to be mutually exclusive.
Yeah, so I guess being able to make a bespoke sort of plan for yourself, a bit of a health action plan around all those areas you mentioned is going to be important. I'm going to throw a quick question in there. I take quite a few vitamins. I know a lot of my cousins and family overseas do because they can't get the same level of nutrients and so forth from their food. What's your thought process? I'm not asking for a yes or no, but thought process in terms of individuals taking vitamins and buying all of those and taking them every morning as opposed to potentially trying to fit that in their diet?
How many weeks have we got, Nisha? Because as soon as you're saying that, you're talking about a myriad of different components. So you're talking about a whole host of minerals and vitamins. So in its most simplest terms, the role of supplements by definition is in addition to, not instead of. So if you can get all the nutrition that your body needs from diet, fantastic, do that. There probably isn't a need for supplements. 2 reasons that may not always happen. Number one, just people's lifestyles and having to eat on the run, and that's not an excuse so much, but does explain it. Number 2, there have been a lot of issues raised about, for example, quality of soils and how much vitamins and minerals there are in vegetables and whether it's as much as it was years ago. Yes. So for people who feel that they may benefit from taking a supplement and they feel better for doing it, then there's no particular issue or problem with that. Now, I've seen people come into the surgery literally with a shoebox full of supplements, and I'm not sure that's a good idea because A, it becomes quite expensive, and B, you hardly got time left to eat if you've had 25 tablets a day. But judicious use of supplements is helpful. And it's often knocked, in my opinion, wrongly by the medical profession, who say, well, look, you can get enough for your recommended daily intake. The recommended daily allowance is the amount necessary to be not deficient. Now, not deficient may not be the same as optimal, and your needs might vary at different times. For example, somebody who's training quite hard at sport is going to need more than somebody who isn't. If you're unwell, you might need more antioxidants than otherwise. So you have to adjust it to your own circumstances. answers.
And I think what you've just explained there demonstrates the importance of actually having a holistic understanding of your life situation, not just saying, like you said, it's the definition, it's getting up to the deficiency as opposed to optimal, and whether you're about to have children or you're, retiring or whatever it might be.
Exactly. And the idea that there's a recommended daily allowance for, we've got 8 billion people on the planet. Somehow everybody needs exactly the same, or that even the same person needs exactly the same at all stages through life. So that's where, being guided by your body and what you feel works for you is, has its role as well.
Wonderful. Well, Dr. Joe, always fascinating there. And as you can see, I just throw questions to Dr. Joe and he always has an answer. I absolutely love it. I feel very safe with you. Dr. Joe, where can we find out more about you or contact you, basically?
Look, you can go onto the website at drjoetoday.com and we put out a newsletter or so once a month, and there's some blogs, and you can click on into a couple of the socials.
Fantastic. Well, thank you. We'll look forward to seeing you very soon again.
Thanks, Nisha.
And I hope everyone is inspired to get their health action plans together. If you've missed any of that, you can go to thecouch.com.au or, of course, our Facebook page. But for now, it's back to you, Fred.
Thank you, Nisha. And I have to say to Dr. Joe, he's 100% right with that question about vitamins. I went to my GP, just very quickly, and I had all these vitamins that were given to me by a naturopath because I wanted to see if they could help. And the doctor said to me, you don't need any of that. Look at you, because of my weight, he knew I ate very well, and he said, you get enough in the food that you're eating, so you don't need it. And I did. I actually dropped them, and I still did all right. So everyone's an individual, but I think consistency is a great thing, and you get that from the medical profession. We're going to take a break. Thank you to Dr. Joe. We'll see him in a few weeks' time. After the break, we've got another doctor joining us, a doctor of nutrition, right here on the couch. Welcome back at the couch. It's always nice to have Dr. Paula Smith in the studio. Well, this is the second time. So let's welcome you back first, Paula. Welcome back.
Thanks, Fred. Lovely to be back.
Now, we touched on a different topic last time you were in. We're talking about hybrid working. Tell everybody at home, in your very simple definition, what is hybrid working?
Yeah. Well, hybrid as a word, for those who are not familiar with it, is really when you put two elements together. So we have hybrid cars that work on both petrol and electricity. Yeah, so that's a very simple example. And but we also have hybrid meetings now and hybrid conferences. So at a flick of a button now, we can have access to events and also employment opportunities anywhere in the world.
It's the new normal, isn't it?
It absolutely is. But in some industries now, we're pushing forward, and again, because of the post-COVID pandemic.
COVID created this situation, and we've had to make it work to keep businesses going and keep people earning money and keep the economy going as well. Hybrid work, give us some examples of the type of work that people are doing at home.
Yeah, well, we've been pushing for a very long time for flexible workplaces anyway. So, hybrid is, many times it's saying it's not going to work. But of course, we've been pushed into this world now where it has worked and it is working, but not for everybody. So a hybrid workplace is like some people are working for, say, 2 days at home and 3 days in the office, or 3 or 4 days in the office and 1 or 2 days at home.
Do you think it's a good thing mentally, like the mental health of people, family? Do people find the balance still there? Because I've heard people can't turn off, and the people that used to finish at 3:30 in the public service are now sort of going, I'll do another half an hour, I'll do another hour, and they have a bit of burnout as well.
Well, with any big change, there's some challenges along the way. And I think we've had the good, the bad, and the real ugly of it all as well. And look, some people thrive. Some people are just loving it. They're being more present at home. They're dropping the kids off to to school. And, they're just more present in the household.
So tell us a bit of some of the jobs. Because I know call centres are now, like I rang Telstra the other day and I got a lady in Bayswater, because Telstra's decided to move back all their 10,000 staff that used to do the phones back to Australia and get them away from the overseas call centres. And people are working in their little house, in their little office. They're setting up the equipment for them. So the call centres are one thing which I think work beautifully. What else can you do from home so far at the moment?
So it's not just call centre, it's banks. That was the one that surprised me the most.
NAB, yes.
Because, of course, you've got all those things about confidentiality and, you know, how secure is my information when people are sitting at home? So you've got banks, you've got consultants, you've got the big mining companies. But the sad thing is so many people are not going into the city now. So all those small businesses in the city are missing out on that foot traffic.
Coffee shops, dress shops,
the
clothes
restaurants.
shops.
Yeah.
It is a hard thing. So how do you meet the balance? How do you get the balance right? What do we need to do as a society to make it work better, do you think?
Well, I think the organisations have to do hybrid better. So the organisations now, I mean, we're 2 years into this now. 2 years
we would have got it right by now?
Yeah, well, we were quite forgiving 2 years ago. So the tech wasn't right, and I'm sure you've probably been at the receiving end of sort of a meeting and the tech wasn't right. But we're 2 years on now. So organisations have to have some great policies in place. They have to realise that a hybrid workplace or a remote workforce isn't right for everybody.
Yes.
And as an individual, so we've got to get more present. We've got to start leaving the house. I don't know, did you ever become a hermit like
Look,
over that
I
COVID
enjoyed
period?
it because I usually, working at radio at 6PR, you're there in the studio for 5 hours at a time, and then doing this show here, you're out of the house. And I have I've got a busy schedule and I do a lot from home anyway. Right, so, but that's my own home, it's my own TV show. I don't know if I like the idea of people constantly being at home. They don't meet people, they don't go out, they don't have family time anymore. Everything's done at home. And it worries me. It worries me that we need to make sure, like you said, 2 years now, we need to get it a little bit better. Do you think it's working well?
For some industries and for some people.
Yeah.
Some people are thriving and other people are burning out. So some of the most recent research is saying people are really burning out. So they're losing that consistency and rhythm that they're used to. And because they're more present at home, they might have more demands at home. So because they're more present and they're trying to navigate two workplaces. They're trying to navigate the home office and the work office, the relationships of both of those.
Completely diverse,
Yeah, so it's very different.
And I had a situation, I won't say what company it was, a friend of mine works for a company and she's now working from home, and they've got her used to working at home, and now they've come back and said, well, because you're working at home, you're saving money on lunch, clothes, you're also saving money on parking. So they've asked her to take a pay cut from $75,000 down to $65,000. She's taken it because she says just parking alone.
Yeah.
She says, so I guess you've got to weigh up the benefits and the pros and cons, and they say, well, you know what, I can lose 10 grand, but I'm actually making 10 grand because I'm not paying it out on, all the extra clothing, the lunches, the coffees, the stuff that you would do when you're in the city, parking especially, $30 a day she was paying in the city.
Yeah.
So I guess while I wouldn't like to see too many people negotiate pay cuts, because especially during a cost of living issue, I think that's happening, and it will happen more down the track as the economy picks up. Can you see that happening, where the businesses will start saying, what else can we do to make it more profitable?
Well, I'm hoping that not too many people accept pay cuts because the organisations are also saving money as well, especially on office, some of the building space, maybe some of the techs that the people are already using that they already had at home.
Yep.
So I think organisations are saving a bit of money as well. But I think, like I said before, it's not for everybody.
No,
and I think
you're right.
organisations need to, and I think the research is really too early to say, is this working or isn't? It's working for some now.
Correct.
But it'll be really interesting to see the mental health, like the long-term mental health with the isolation,
Correct.
with some people working from home, the business, the loss of business, for the city people as well. So it'd be really interesting in 12, 18 months' time to say, is this really working, or do we need to get people back out from their homes, connecting with their community, connecting with their peers, and getting that balance right for everybody.
Look, I tend to agree with you. For people watching this segment right now, people are saying, well, I wouldn't mind working from home. What do they need to do if they want to get the ball rolling and they may be interested in saying, well, my work can be done from home, maybe I can do a couple of days a week?
Yeah, is talk to your employer.
So
just like the
directly.
employer needs to talk to their staff members as well, and just say, is this going to work for both the organisation and the individual, and the family as well? Because of course they've got their family as well, and
Yes.
will it work for the family? Because it's all right saying I want to work from home, but if you don't have the right setup at home, it could put additional pressures on relationships at home with the kids and the
Yes.
wife and the husbands.
Now, see, when you talk about family, and as a man, I'd like to say the ones that I've seen that are usually the women that seem to take on more responsibility. So I think the men also need to pick up their game, because I know of people where the husbands have sort of said, well, the wife's now home, she can look after the little kids as well, and I'll be able to do my thing. And whereas I think the women have picked up more, like we were talking about daycare. A lot of people are probably saying, well, let's not worry about daycare, we can save money and you can look after them at home. But there needs to be a very clear line, because I would not want to be someone that's on the phone and having a 3-year-old running around the office, and you got to keep an eye on the computer, the phone and the child. There has to be a balance created, and it has to be formulated properly that works for everybody, and a flexible workplace too.
Yeah. And just that downtime, because, you know, for the men and the women, sometimes when they were busy in the office, they would have that downtime travelling to and from work. So they're losing that downtime. And one of my colleagues started playing video games for the last hour of his day, because that's my downtime. Instead of travelling, I'm just playing a video game or a driving game.
So I don't have a problem with that.
So I shut off from work, and I've got that hour, you know, before I go home, or take a
Correct.
walk around the block.
And even people that used to go to the tea room for lunch. I know they're now sitting at their desk, they go to the fridge, they can get up as much as they want. So there is flexibility there, but I do urge people to be very careful that you don't get consumed by more work, and you need to always get away from your work desk as well and have a break. And I think that's the only thing I'm worried about, that people are not having that break, and then it may affect their family life because they think they're seeing the kids more and the husband more, the husband or wife. They may be into a false sense of security there, and maybe they need to say, okay, let's sit down, we still need family time. 4 o'clock's the door's shut, we're now a family. And I don't know if I worry that people are having more mental health issues, and burnout is part of that as well, as you said. So I don't know, do you reckon this is going to become a regular part of work, or because you heard about the city, obviously they want more people back in the city.
Yeah.
And what about government offices, Paula, that have booked $1 million buildings and are half empty?
Yeah.
Can they sustain that? They've got 10-year leases in these buildings. I can't see it lasting.
See, I don't think we can go back either. So I think we've all had a taste of it now. And I don't think we can go back, but I still think there's a lot of work to be done to get the model right. So businesses, like the city businesses, you know, the sustainability of those city businesses, no more empty buildings. So, you know, perhaps we can think of different usages for those buildings.
Yes, maybe letting the homeless, converting them to accommodation.
But I think we have to remember the good things. We do have access at a press of a button now.
Oh, look,
Yeah.
I love the flexibility. I love the fact that you have got that access, and people are working longer days, or companies are open different hours now to cater for people that work different hours as well.
Yeah.
Look, thank you very much for coming in today. If people want more information, because you are a bit of a leadership and speaking expert, I wanted to touch on that. What's your website?
So it's paulasmith.com.au.
Thank you very much. There it is on screen right now, paulasmith.com.au. Look forward to having you back in about 3 weeks' time.
We'd like to be 4. I'm off to London.
4, right?
Yeah,
You can't
have to
work.
be 4 or 5.
You can't work while you're there.
Well, actually, speaking of hybrid, that's a good point. Maybe at a press of a button, I can be
I'll remember
zooming
that.
in from London.
That we can now.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
sounds
Soon you'll be
awesome.
able to do it from a plane.
Soon.
Well done, Dr. Paula Smith, of course, our leadership and speaking expert. Back in about 3 weeks' time with more. 4 weeks, can I say. Thank you, Paula.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll,
See you soon.
We'll talk more about nutrition. We've got an amazing lady called Sarah. She's a doctor as well. We're going to talk to her right after this break. Nisha will anyway.
Connect with The Couch online through Facebook, Instagram and YouTube.
Welcome back to The Couch. Now, you know, if I had this book about a couple of weeks ago, I would never have had to have my gastric sleeve So I do thank Sarah Di Lorenzo from the Sunrise program. As always, 7, leaving it to the last minute. If I knew, I probably could have saved myself a lot of pain and time. But I tell you what, it may benefit so many people. She's a clinical nutritionist and she's with us today. We're really honoured because she's flown in directly from Sydney to Perth. She's literally got here a couple of hours ago and she's on the set talking to Nisha. Over to you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Fred. Sarah, welcome to the couch.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm in admiration when we were talking earlier. You're a clinical nutritionist, still
Yes.
working in your own practice.
Yes.
You're the resident nutritionist on Weekend Sunrise.
Correct, yes.
As well as an author.
Yes, author of the 10-10 Diet and now the 10-10 Diet recipe book. And I'm working on book 3. As well, I am proud mum of 3 daughters, Charlotte, Coco and Chloe, and avid exerciser and someone who just really believes in a holistic approach to health and wellness.
Beautiful. And it's great to hear how in purpose you are when you talk about a holistic approach.
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
So tell us a little bit about the 10-10 diet.
So the 10-10 Diet is something that I create. It's a creation of mine after probably 15 to 20 years of being in clinical practice. And it's a holistic approach to losing weight. So what I want to do is I want to teach people how to take weight off and keep it off for life. It is a whole new style of eating that is a nutritionally balanced diet. It's 10 kilos in 10 weeks. I only believe in weight loss and healthy weight loss to be around a kilo a week because the average person can only lose between 0.8 and 1.2 kilos of body fat. So I'm all about preserving the body's wonderful muscle, people being really healthy. I don't want to dehydrate people. I just want people to reduce body fat. So it is a diet that creates ketones, but it is not the keto diet. I still have fruit in there. I still have legumes in there. There's nuts. It is really learning a new style of eating. I've got a maintenance program in there as well. So, yes.
That's wonderful. So it's sustainable because you're creating reasonable expectations and working with individuals, which I have to say, when you're still treating, you're up to date in terms of all of the research, which is amazing.
That is just so important, though. Like, as a clinician, there's trends that you see people. I'll always be in clinical practice. I see people who come in and I'll see different nutrition trends, and I learn more about people. It just enhances my capacity as a practitioner to continually, do better treatment plans with just that holistic approach.
And you are very humble, so I'll need to say it. But your books, so you've got 2 books. Okay,
Yes,
so you've got the 10-10 Diet book, the initial book,
Correct,
which
yes.
was brought out in January, and then
Yes.
you have the book that Fred's about to hold up, and it may be on screen. Apologies as well. So the initial book is on screen,
Yes.
the 10-10 Diet, and the recent recipe book that's being launched that we're all fighting over in the studio, which makes it so realistic to
Yeah.
see how you can set some reasonable expectations. But you have been number 1 for a number of months now.
Yes, I'm the number 1 author in the country, so that's been something that's been. I'm overwhelmed and I'm honoured, but it does actually really show me what the Australian public's looking for as well. But also, the 10-10 Diet's sold over 30,000 copies. That's the number 1. It's been the number 1 book. It's been a number 1 on Amazon many times, and the 10-10 Diet recipe book that's out now is currently number 1, and that's done 5,000 copies, and it was only published not even about a week ago. So
Brilliant.
it just shows me so much, Nisha, though, what the Australian public want, and they want the hard, fast, rapid dieting, all that kind of stuff isn't what's popular now. What's popular is, and what I prescribe and what I promote is just that self-love, that self-care, healthy diet, healthy relationship with food, and at the end of it, really creating a new normal.
As I hear you speak,
Yes.
I think about World Vision.
Yeah.
And the reason I think about that
do
is
you?
because
Yeah.
one of the one of the philosophies rather around World Vision is to create a sustainable infrastructure.
Yeah, wow.
And that's why that not-for-profit is so successful in
Yeah.
developing countries, is because it resonates. You don't just want to go in and try and lose 10 kilos in 5 minutes and then not be able. You want to go in, you understand the whole behavioural approach, assist someone to feel comfortable in their own body, and they make
Correct.
changes that they want to make, right?
Absolutely. And in the first book, in the 10-10 Diet, that's basically 45,000 words of all of my clinical experience. And what I do cover in that is everything from, I want people to understand why are you carrying weight? Is it nutritional deficiencies? Is it personal relationships? Is it lack of sleep, lack of water, lack of exercise, lack of vitamin D? I want people to really understand why it is that they've carried that weight and work on the periphery while they're doing the 10-week program and really work on themselves. In the middle of the 10 weeks, I've got a 2-week mini detox, and people think of detoxing like something that's potentially unpleasant. For me, detoxing is time for you. It's time to stop, reflect, and it's time to really just set some goals. I don't stop coffee in the detox because it's not about that. It's just the only thing I do stop is alcohol. I'm a realist. I have alcohol in the 10-10 diet because I understand that it's 10 weeks. The reason why I also picked 10 weeks was because it takes us as humans to make a life change, according to research, 66 days.
Yes.
So I really want to change people's lives for the better. I want them to get off the diet merry-go-round, stop it, and just look at a new style of eating, because when you get to the maintenance phase of the 10-10 diet, you've already got a wonderfully nutritionally balanced menu and meal plan. And what I do is reintroduce properly our complex carbohydrates, but I do them when we should be eating them at breakfast and lunch, not at dinner. They're our macro for energy. And logically, and if you look at studies around the world in the blue zones and where people have no disease and no obesity, or they have they live till 110 and 120, they have a very complex carbohydrate dense diet, but their carbs are taken in the earlier part of the day. So we're insulin resistant nighttime, so what we eat at night we store. So there's a lot of science. The 10-10 diet is all evidence-based.
Yes, look, it's certainly evidence-based, and certainly when you talk about sleep and fatigue management and all of those spaces, I can sense from talking to Sarah earlier, she's so versed across the board in holistic health, and I could talk to you all day, but they're wrapping me up. But Sarah, where do we find out more about you?
So my website is sarahdilorenzo.com.
Wonderful. And I do have the dates here because you are on a tour, obviously promoting the book. So if you're watching online, these dates will still be relevant. Monday the 13th of June from 1 to 2 p.m. at Dimmicks in Hay Street. Monday as well from 4 to 5 p.m. in Dimmicks and Morley. You'll be busy that day. And Tuesday the 14th of June from 12 to 1 at Dimmicks in Garden City. So if you are around, you can meet Sarah then and get a personally signed book.
Yes, and a photo. Come and say hi. If you are someone in Perth who has done the 10-10 diet journey, I would love to hear your success. Come and meet me and tell me your story, because that's why I do what I do.
And you can really feel it when you're sitting next to Sarah. Such a genuine energy. Thank you so much for joining us on the couch.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
And we'll look forward to staying connected with you for book 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I'm sure.
They're all coming.
Yay.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Of course, if you've missed any of that, you can check out our Facebook page, The Couch, otherwise thecouch.com.au. But for now, it's back to you, Fred.
Thank you very much, Nisha and Sarah. Can I just ask very quick, because I've written notes for myself. It's like a classroom. I know we're going to go to a break, but that's okay. Look, I know the owner. You're very realistic. Diets need to be realistic 100%. If people are going to keep to them. I've learnt that. There's 150 recipes in this book, and I've looked at them. There's lasagna in there, and there's chicken, and there's soups, which after having a gastric sleeve, I'm going to have a look at that.
Yes.
The name's Italian, so it's got to be good.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I want to know, do you actually cook these recipes, or are they somebody else has put the lovely look on them?
No, I cook them. No, and these are all recipes that are my own creations. I've invented them.
Well, that's good.
Yes.
My last question, what are you doing tonight? Because I'm feeling that I should have a dinner party. And do you really think I look like Matt Doran?
I think you do, absolutely.
That's what I thought so too. You look like Natasha Belling. I bet no one's ever said that to you.
No.
She reads the news over there. I think it's 7 these days. But
she does pop in there sometimes, yes.
It's been a wonderful experience having you here. Hopefully we'll all be a lot healthier, especially when you come back. But thank you for doing that. And please support the book. It is a fantastic book. 10-10 Diet Recipe Book. There it is. I've got it. I've got a few copies I'm going to give away. I'll tell you how you can win them after the break.
Connect with The Couch online through Facebook, Instagram and YouTube.
Welcome back to the couch. It's always nice to promote local books. This is one that we were talking about with Sarah Di Lorenzo, of course, nutritionist from Sunrise, but not for long. She'll be moving to our program soon. Didn't want to tell everybody on national TV. She'll be leaving you 7 very soon, I hope. Wonderful lady. She's given me 5 of these books to give away. If you would like to get your hands on one of these books, absolutely free. This is all you have to do. It is called the 1010 Diet Recipe Book. 0439 929 929. That's our SMS number. SMS us the code word, which is recipe. It's on the screen right now with your name and address. And the first 5 people to send that to me, they'll win a book. How easy is that? Thank you to Sarah Di Lorenzo as well. And get onto it straight away. Now we're talking food as well, but West Australian stuff. Because WA food, we know, is the best. I live in the Swan Valley. I've been to the southwest, and I've also been to Morley and Balga and Mirrabooka, and we can get great food, local food, right there, everywhere in WA. To talk about this and more, there's a great event coming up. It's called Plating Up WA. Nisha's got Deborah with her on the couch.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Fred. Yes, we have Deb on the couch today, and I'm so excited. There's so many things to talk about. Deb, you're the Manager of Food Industry Development at DPIRD, also known as Department of Primary Industries Regional Development. Bit of a tongue twister.
Mouthful there.
Welcome to the couch. It's your first time.
It is, and I'm excited, really excited.
Deb, we have had a number of doctors on the show today, nutritionists, and we've been talking about all the good stuff.
Yep.
And you're here to promote, I guess, one of our campaigns coming up. But first of all, tell us about this slogan I've got behind you, Buy West, Eat Best.
Well, that is a government program. It came about in 2006, where consumers were really starting to rumble a bit about how do we really know what's locally produced. So the West Australian decided to run a petition and go, okay, West Aussies, how much do you really want a program or a food labelling program to give you the assurances? Well, now this is before social media, everyone, so I'm excited. There were 60,000 signatures that said, we want something where we know we are supporting local. So in 2008, Buy West Eat Best was launched. We started out with 38 founding members, and now we have around 240.
Fantastic.
But it's right across the supply chain.
Beautiful.
From small producers right up to all the major retailers, independents, and food service and hospitality. And that's why we're here to talk about that sector.
Yeah, absolutely. So Western Australia is very hopeful in the market shifting. And as a connector, which I know you are, let's talk about Plating Up WA. What's the purpose of Plating Up WA?
Well, again, because we have quite a few restaurants, cafes and bars as members of the program, and we do try and work out what can we do for different members. They're all competing with each other. So we try and work out what's some differentiation that we can give. Feedback we were getting from Food Service and Hospo is winter's really tough to get consumers out of their cosy homes. So, we then thought, okay, let's run an initiative in June, and why wouldn't we do it in June? WA Day, long weekend, so we kick it off with that. And it really is about promoting food service and hospitality, and what the role they have is they have to have a hero dish. And so it has to become from local produce. And so here this year, and it's been running since 2018, despite COVID, we've got in excess of 51 venues in WA, but a really big transition is we've actually taken it internationally.
Fantastic. So where have we expanded to?
Singapore, which was an absolutely natural partner.
Yes.
We've been trading big time, proximity obviously, with Singapore for over 30 years. Premium food and beverage, but now we have conversations in Singapore around Western Australian produce.
Beautiful. So you're really creating connector opportunities for those businesses across the whole supply chain.
Correct. Some of these guys, so we're creating a market pool up in Singapore. Now, we did have quite a lot of traditional businesses that have been up there for some time. Some of the newer guys, though, they don't have the marketing funds to go up there. So we've provided that connection. Our state government in market Trade Office has worked really, really closely with us.
Fantastic.
So we've got iconic products like Western Australian rock lobster.
Beautiful.
We've got beautiful Wagyu beef. We've got our black truffles from Manjimup.
You're smiling at me because you know that's one of my favourites.
So, and beautiful range of seafood. We're pairing those with craft beers and beautiful Western Australian wines.
It's so wonderful that the government in Western Australia is so proactive in this space. And so Singapore, I've lived there for over 10 years, not now, but in the past, they are so open to particularly Western Australian produce, aren't they?
Absolutely. We have been trading, as I mentioned earlier, really that premium high end. That's what they're looking for. And of course, now the Buy West Eat Best provides the provenance story. So chefs up in Singapore, in fact, we had come down with a buyer delegate mission only a few months ago, a chef, and he just walked farms all in Western Australia. And he said once he gets his kitchen fully staffed, he's bringing his staff down here to go out to the farmers to talk about that produce. Because let's face it, we're getting increasing cost of living. So restaurants have to really go, how can we deliver more than just the food? They want the experience. They want to know what's happening out on that. Where did that produce come from?
It doesn't get more organic than that. And of course, during the COVID pandemic, the food and beverage industry was hit really hard, weren't they? So we're talking about really energising and rocketing the industry through the campaign that you've put together.
Absolutely. And here in this state, I mean, it is just so exciting. We've got regional restaurants, Kalbarri, Esperance, Margaret River, Busso, Manjimup, Pemberton. Like, I could just go on. And here in Perth, we've got, well, Fred will be right. He's got 2 restaurants in the Swan Valley. And we've got down in Peel, we've got restaurants, not surprisingly, in the CBD, Northbridge, we've got Hilton. We've got Kelmscott, we've got Waikiki.
Fantastic.
So no one's got an excuse not to get out.
That's it. Doesn't matter where you live. So there's over 30 here in Western Australia. There's 20 in Singapore. So I'm going there shortly. So I'll be visiting those. And we did want to mention them all, but surely I know we can go somewhere to check out which ones are on the list. Where can we find out more?
You certainly can. Platingup.com. And I kid you not, you will gush at the vision that's on there, because I just revisited it before coming in today and I'm going, oh my God, how am I going to do it? But I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
So how many days in June? I'm really bad, I should know this off the top of my head.
30.
30. So if there's around 30 restaurants.
One every day. Come on, let's go.
That's it. Might need to double up. Breakfast, lunch and dinner. Thanks, Fred. That's good, yeah. I will have to space out my meals. And where's the rock lobster? Actually, no, I'm not going to make you mention one restaurant because there are 30, so that won't be fair to them.
No, that's right.
But I'll look that up.
We do have beautiful range of seafood, Shark Bay cockles, Fremantle octopus, Far West scallops, abalone from down south, amazing, as well as rock lobster. One of the amazing dishes that, as soon as I saw the vision on it again, was rock lobster infused with truffles in a dumpling. It was just extraordinary.
Yum. Okay, that's the one that I'll hit first. I'm going to search the website and I'll find it. Look, Deb, thank you so much for joining us on the couch, and we hope to have you again to come and talk about some of your other campaigns and great work you're doing.
Thank you so much. And you know, Western Australian are proudly parochial. We have a growing membership. Consumers love it. So make sure you look for that green bite.
Yes.
That is an assurance that it is Western Australian, grown, farmed, fished and processed.
Wonderful. Well, our agriculture industry is definitely growing and thriving. And thank you so much again, Deb, for joining us on the couch.
Absolute pleasure.
And if you missed any of that, of course, you can find it on our Facebook page or thecouch.com.au. But it's back to you, Fred, with all that food in front of you.
Sounds fantastic. Thanks, Deb, for coming in today. Deb, is the place up at Cervantes, is that on there at all?
There's one up in
Lobster
Joondalup.
Shack?
No.
Oh, well, you miss out Lobster Shack. You should have got involved. Don't you see the green thing? Buy West, Eat Best. Forget it. I'm never going there again because I like lobsters, by the way.
Take that as encouragement.
I do think you do need an ambassador, someone that can go around and keep the quality control there. Deb, maybe you and I should drive up. Could be a great idea. I just had a call from someone called M. McGowan. He said he wants to come with me. And we love promoting WA. Can I just say that's exactly what we do here on the couch. We are the only program that today we've had 99% West Australian, starting with Phil Wally-Stack, talking about plating up WA and anything at all that happens here in WA. We love to show it here on the couch. nearly time for us to go. Can I say thank you very much to the West Australian crew. West Australian crew is the best. We don't eat them because otherwise they won't be here next week. But if we could, they'd taste very good. We're going to leave you today with Club Fiesta. Now, they're a dance exercise program by Hala Fitness. They're West Australian, by the way, as well. And Hala and the team are here centre stage. They're going to be appearing very soon at Good Life Gymnasiums. They're also going to be launching in Sydney, so a great West Australian company launching in Sydney in June. So this month they'll be launching there. But you can see them at Every Woman Expo between the 17th and 19th of June at, of course, another West Australian icon. It is, of course, the Perth Convention and Exhibition Centre. Please support them. Go and do some Zumba. After eating all this food, Nisha and I and Deb are going to need this as well. Here they are, Club Fiesta with a Club Couch Mix. See you next week.
All my ladies, pop your backs with it. Drop with it, lean with it, rock with it, snap with it. All my ladies, pop your backs with it. Drop with it, lean with it, rock with it, snap with it. All my fellas, put your hands with it.
Começar o combate, kika, kika, bate, bate. Hoje vai rolar um fight de bumbum. Aqui não vai ter empate, o bagulho é de verdade. Meu popô vai dar nocaute em qualquer um. Oi, bota a cara pra tu ver o que vai acontecer. Eu vou te dar um beijo, vai tomar sua de bumbum.